welcome to the Video HubSpot user group, to our From SEO to AEO, optimizing your content engine with video webinars and podcasts. Very excited about this presentation today. Again, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, let me know. In the meantime, while everybody is connecting, make sure that everybody tells us in the chat who you are, introduce yourselves to each other, and we want to know who we're talking to. So good stuff. If you don't know who I am, I'm Gabriel Marguglio. I'm the CEO and founder of Nextiny Marketing. We are a HubSpot Platinum solution partner. We've been in business more than 23 years and been using HubSpot more than 13 now, 12 actually. It's been an amazing journey and we're here to help. So if you need help with anything related to HubSpot websites, marketing implementation, SEO, AEO, of course, all the AI stuff. So AI implementation, so AI software, but also how to show up in AI, which is what we're going to talk about today. But we are also a video marketing agency. So let us know if you need anything and I'll give you more credentials and information later so you can connect with us if you need to. So this is a series of webinars that we are running in October. We run one last week. We'll do a little recap of last week's webinar, which was from SEO to AEO, how AI is redefining client acquisition. So that was a presentation. You can check the recording too. I'll send the recording, but it's on our website. And also you can connect to us with the other user groups that we run. We not only run the video user group, but we also run a local user group for HubSpot and a content hub for marketers user group. So in those links that I just shared, you can also subscribe for the next two webinars that we're running in this series, which are next Wednesday and 2 Wednesdays from now. It's loop marketing versus inbound marketing, and from SEO to AEO, optimizing your HubSpot website for AI search. So this is a whole series. I'm going to go through some of the stuff that we talked about last week, so you're up to date, and then we'll go right into video stuff. Yes, you can get signups for the next two. Go to those two links, and the Taylor, thanks for the question. Those two links will have the signups for the next two presentations, and you'll get an email with these links also after the end of the presentation too. So now let's continue with the presentation today. Let's talk about the agenda for today. So how AI is redefining client acquisition was our last week's event. I'll go through some of that stuff so nobody's lost here. So if you were here last week, you'll get 5 to 7 minutes of just recap, and then we'll go right into everything else we're talking today. We'll talk about content engine framework, what we recommend as your content engine, your tech stack, how HubSpot and Wistia can work together very well for this, and then building consistency and measuring success with these efforts. You know, we've been doing video for more than 10 years now. We used to just put video on websites and stuff like that and use video for social. But like 10 years ago, we decided to become a video agency. And that was a huge transformation for us. And it gives us a lot of experience with clients, but also data to showcase how it's working, why it's working, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll talk about measuring success. That's one of the biggest questions we always have. Now, last week we went through the event. I'll share the recap also here. And if you want to sign up for next week's, this is the link, the direct link for next week's event. So let's talk a little bit about what we talked about last week. What's changing? So the evolution of search, it continues, right? Search isn't links anymore. It isn't just links on Google. It's answers on AI models. AI overviews, ChatGPT and others are changing how people discover you. And this is important to keep in mind because, yes, you might be losing some of Google traffic, but also there's a huge opportunity. Did I share the wrong link to the webinar? Yes, I may have shared the wrong link to the webinar. Thank you, Melissa. So I'll make sure that you have the correct link for next week, which is this one right here. Thank you, Melissa. People are awake. This is good stuff. So again, search is changing. AI overviews, ChatGPT have changed how people find you. Google optimizations are still important, and we'll talk a little bit about that still. But people are finding you on ChatGPT, on Claude, on all these LLMs, all these AI models, and through apps that use these AI models. And it's very important to understand how they work, how we need to do content for them, and how to stay visible in an answer first world, right? Before we were like, okay, people don't call you anymore, they go to Google. Now people don't call you and they might not even Google you. They might be doing research about what they need on AI, and you need them to actually, you need AI to actually show you as the answer for their question. So how is AI shifting behavior? So 60% of people of Google searches now end up in 0 clicks. This was already a problem before. Google was already doing it. With AI is even higher. 70% of B2B buyers complete their decision journey before contacting sales. This was, again, a problem already. Now, what's interesting is also 3 times higher conversion in leads that came from AI. That means that AI leads are higher quality leads, which makes sense because someone is having a whole conversation with an AI model, and you end up being the result at the end of that whole conversation. They're going to be more educated. They were going to know a lot more about you. They're going to ask better questions. So higher conversion, of course. So AI is becoming the new homepage. But one of my main themes of last week was do not freak out, because Google is still 210 times, not percent, times bigger than ChatGPT in traffic. So here's the article if you want to read it. This is a Search Engine Land study about how people are finding things, and it's talking about how you can actually think about chat as an important piece of the puzzle, but also do not stop doing what you were doing for Google, because this is still one of the most important, or the most important source you're going to have. And this took me to SEO is not dead. And this is a funny graphic that I found on LinkedIn. It was about how we've been declaring SEO being dead since 1997 for multiple reasons, for updates in the algorithm. Yeah, Melissa, this is super funny. Updates in the algorithm, ChatGPT existing, all these, the pandas and all the updates. At the end of the day, SEO is not dead. Lazy SEO has been dead for a long time. So keep in mind, it takes work to do SEO, but that's a good thing because everybody's doing lazy SEO, and you could actually get better results because of it. So AEO is answer engine optimization. This is optimizing not just for pages. And I just notice I said not just for pages. We're still optimizing for Google and for pages because it works. Because also AI finds you through search engines and Google, and they have their own search engines. So if you want to show up in AI, the best thing you can do is show up in Google. So that still works, right? But also on AI answers. So there's some shifts here. We talked a little bit about this, how you needed to be part of the 5 links. Now you need to be part of the answer. You needed to optimize for website visits. Now you're optimizing for AI visibility, but you're still optimizing for SEO. You're still doing the right thing there. And my main message is inbound marketing is very close. If you were doing inbound marketing correctly and you were doing everything you could, loop marketing, which is the solution that HubSpot presented at Inbound last month, is very familiar to you, because if you're creating helpful human content that directly answer your ideal client's question, which is they ask you answer, that's the methodology, a great book I recommend. If you were creating, great SEO and you were helping, people by answering those questions and creating very helpful content that wasn't just crap from ChatGPT, that's going to show up in AI too. If you had great messaging using methodologies like StoryBrand you were conversion optimizing your website, using call to actions and forums and chat and call tracking. All of these things are still the backbone of loop marketing. And especially if you were doing videos and webinars and podcasts and you were being human with your audience, that's even bigger, because that is at the core of what AI wants. And this has everything to do with the importance of being real. I give this example of Neo and Morpheus. Sorry for ruining this movie. If you haven't watched it, it's been only 25 years, I think. But Morpheus was telling Neo when he came out of the Matrix, very, very timely example here. Welcome to the desert of the real. And I'm comparing what's happening online and on the internet with this moment, because nothing is real now. Anything could be fake. Voice could be fake. Yourself, you could have an avatar of yourself. People put other faces in front of them. There's a bunch of scams about that stuff. So where are the real stuff? Where's the real stuff? Well, that's why it's even more important than ever to do video and webinars and do these things that actually showcase how you're real, have real interactions with real humans and showcase those things, because everything is fake. I gave the example of my kids. I have my kids are all artists, and it's amazing. And they were worried about AI, and they asked me, what are we going to do? And I'm like, first of all, learn it, because that will make you faster, that will make you better. But also, everybody's going to be creating fake crap out there. So just as long as you're creating real stuff, you're a real artist coming from the heart, coming from feelings, those things are not going to be replaced by AI. So for businesses, this is the same thing. People are craving real stuff because absolutely anything could be fake. And it's only going to get worse. So authenticity wins, and video is perfect for this. So, in a world where AI can generate anything, your face, your voice, your clients, you talking to another human being, those are things that are real, that not only humans crave, but also AI craves. AI wants real human signals to actually showcase companies. So human connection, all those things are going to help with AI search, because not only SEO is analyzing text and all these things, but now AI is checking how you're on social media. Are you creating videos? Are you actually a human being doing real human things and helping other humans? That is going to be more important than ever. Now, video also gives you a whole new plethora of things in a multi-channel way, because you can take that video and turn it into a blog and then turn it into an email. We're going to talk about all of that. And video has always been great for SEO. It's even better for AI visibility. So I gave also some tips on your AEO checklist, which is optimized for questions, and your entities, which entities are peoples, places, brands, products, all these things that are important. Be more specific. Like you used to do long tail keyword, now make sure that is in the content, in your videos, in your webinars, in your blog articles, everywhere. You use structured data. This is more development stuff, but actually AI can create the structured data, the little code in the back to say this is an FAQ, or this is a blog, or this is a knowledge base, right? HubSpot does a lot of that for you, because HubSpot already has some semi-structured data for blogs and for knowledge pages and things like that. You can add some more, which tells with the code, tells AI, this is an FAQ. These are frequently asked questions that real people ask me in real webinars. And these are the answers. When you are creating questions and answers in blogs, in pages, that is giving signals to AI to showcase those questions and answers, and to answer those questions with your answer. Creating videos and transcripts, we're going to talk a lot about that today. Doing FAQs, conversational content. A lot of times you see ChatGPT creates content like, you were asking about this. This is the answer. And you're like, why are you asking the question and answering the question in the same paragraph? That's conversational content. By doing some of that on blog articles, you'll get better ranking on AI, because it's easier for AI to figure out a question and an answer, to answer each specific question. And the best thing you can do for AEO is keep doing amazing SEO. So SEO is evolving. Don't fight it. Loop it. The loop is going to help. Is creating shorter loops, so we can learn and go faster. Authenticity is your differentiator, and AEO is about caring about AI and humans plus the interaction. So that's what we went through on our last webinar about AEO. Today, we're going to talk about the content engine framework. Any questions about last week's webinar, please put it in the chat and let's go through that. If you have any questions, just put it in there while I go through this. So let's talk about the content engine framework. What am I talking about? So we've been talking about this for a long time. Video has always been a great way to create content and to create a content engine. If you were creating videos constantly, you could turn those videos into podcasts. You can turn those videos into blogs. That's why we've been pushing for a lot of years video series. If you do a video series that turns into a podcast series, all those things. Yeah, I'll share the link for the last webinar for sure, Colleen. I'll do that before we end up here. So if you're doing video constantly, that consistency and that human connection creates brand affinity. And I'll show you another graphic in a second about that. So creating a video series was always a great way to create, content on a regular basis. Consistency is usually a problem. So webinars are actually one of the best ways you can do that, because there's not a high end production level. You can do webinars with certain tools like we're going to talk about today about Wistia a lot easier than before. You can run very effective webinars that look amazing, that have amazing tools. And then that video is already in Wistia. You can get the transcript. You can turn it into clips automatically from Wistia. You can create little social clips from it. You can turn it into a blog using ChatGPT for SEO and AEO. You can turn it into a podcast, including internally inside Wistia, to expand your audience to people that are listening to your content. You can email people to re-engage with that audience. You can improve AI with answers and search. And you can restart. You can do another webinar. So one piece of content feeds multiple touch points and AEO signals. At the end of the day, the signals is how AI decides to actually quote you and cite you. Is how, the same way before Google said you had links to your website, or you have links from reputable websites. Those were signals for Google to rank you higher and get your page ranked higher. Well, AI has multiple ways to rank this thing, but it all connects with those signals that you're real, your clients talking about you, your testimonials being out there, and your reviews being real, and then having a video of a client talking about you, and you're in a webinar teaching things. All of these things are signals for the AI to cite you, to grow through AI. And this used to be our graphic for brand affinity marketing. It was video content. If you start producing content, promoting the content, analyzing, and then making it grow, that strategy and that consistency of creating content on a regular basis through video gives you that emotional connection with human connection, which creates brand affinity. People come back to the next webinar. You all are asking me for the recording of the last webinar, and you're signing up for the next webinar. These things are not by chance. We're doing it this way in a series. So people that came for the first one come to the second one. People that didn't come to the first one and came to the second one, they're subscribing to the next one, and they're watching the recording of the last one. This is what I'm talking about. By creating these webinars that people can show up and creating video, there's a whole plethora of content you can create that creates the human connection, that creates brand affinity from humans. But all of those things are great signals for AI, for you to grow with AI. And it also creates great content that shows up on Google and shows up on AI. So these are some numbers from the State of Video report from Wistia. 89% of marketers reuse webinar content, and over half pull social clips from the recordings. The average on-demand video pulls in views for 3 to 4 months after the live event. So what this is signaling is that webinars are great. You guys showing up, 45 people showing up. We got like 106 people subscribed to this one, registered for this one. 45 showed up today. Is this the most important part of the webinar? No. The most important part of the webinar is what happens after the webinar. More people watching the recording, you guys talking about it, you seeing the clip on social and sharing it because you were here, the people that weren't here getting the email, the clips continuing to bring more people, new people to the landing page, and they can register as leads. This creates a whole engine around one webinar, and there's more engagement after than there was before or during the actual webinar. That's the engine that I'm talking about. And only 1 in 5 marketers host webinars with the goal of growing their content library, which is huge. It's a huge potential opportunity because this is human, real content. I'm engaging with you. You guys are asking questions. Those questions are being recorded. I'm answering those questions. All of that will go into the video, will go into the blog. All of these things continue to grow. So your webinar strategy is your video strategy nowadays. Yes, if you have a whole studio and you can do professional videography, go for it. Do a video series, do a podcast series, have interviews every week with your employees, with your clients, with your partners. That is amazing. But this is the easiest way you can do this. You can actually run a video series tomorrow, just running webinars and having guests and having people join you and just listening to the conversation and asking questions at the end. Now, the problem is that webinars are not working out for a lot of people. Engagement, a lot of people are not engaging current clients. They're not driving, product adoption, and they're not increasing brand awareness. So, what we've seen is that the repurposing content is one of the most important parts of this puzzle. From data on webinars hosted by Wistia, they found that webinars on average get 40% of views from on demand after. And this is without doing anything. So 40% already are watching it. So also, on demand drives views over time. They've seen engagement for 3-4 months afterwards. So if this is impressing, but there's missing a whole opportunity, which is building a database of content. Most people are using this to engage with prospects, to generate new leads, to build brand awareness. And that's great. And webinars are great for all of those things, but they're not prioritizing creating content from those webinars. So you have your content engine here, and you have your webinars running here, and events are not connected to the content engine at all. And that's a huge missed opportunity. So what Wistia has been doing, and we've been doing for a long time, is not only working really hard to get that event out, but also after the event is out, mind the live Q&A and include it in your content and create on-demand replays with a landing page that people can also subscribe and register after the event to watch it and become a lead in your database. Create clips very easily with Wistia where you can share them on social media on a regular basis. So this, again, is great for humans because you are an authority. They will see you doing these things. This content is good for SEO because you can create articles out of all of this and show up on Google. And all of these things that you're doing are great signals for AEO to show up in AI. So the on-demand recording can turn into you can do a simulcast on LinkedIn. You can do a blog post and embed it there. You can have an event page where people sign up as a lead to watch that video. And then you can have a media page. I'm going to send you a link to our media page, which is where we have all of our webinars from all the HubSpot user groups. And that's where you're going to watch the recording of the last webinar. Actually, the link is right here, Colleen. We have all of our webinars there. So this is a great page that also shows up on Google, and it's a great signal for AI because AI knows this is all of our events. They can go into each one of the videos. There's a transcript for every single one of those videos. So they know what we're talking about. They know what kind of webinars. I'm constantly testing AI, what it knows about us. And it's incredible how fast it is that they learn what we're doing. Like, I was like, do they really do AI? Do they really know what they're doing? And it's like, well, yeah, they're running webinars and they're teaching people, and there's great reviews, and they mention AI and this and that. So literally, you need to test these things. You need to test yourself. You need to ask AI, how do you know what is this company doing about yourself? The same way you were Googling yourself in the past, ask AI about yourself to understand what are the signals that that AI, in this case ChatGPT, are taking into consideration, so you can continue to learn and continue to make it better over and over again. So what they've seen is that more than 70% of views were coming from later on. So not just 40%, like we talked before, but more than 70% of views and engagement was happening after, on the on-demand blog, on the live event, on the on-demand landing page, on the on-demand media page. So there was a lot more views, because they were not only, Wistia wasn't only just launching an event and that's it, and it goes to the page, but it was doing all those other things. So your question is, what do you do? Well, first of all, the webinar promo videos, right? They become part of the landing page, and then they become part of paid ads that you can run to promote the event. And then you have organic social, and you can put in different, you can put clips to promote, right? But then also use clips from the event to promote all the other efforts that you're doing. So the event creates clips that then you can use to promote the next event in the series, or people going back to the landing page to watch the recording and continuing to get leads from that, and continue to get engagement, but also send signals to AI that you did that piece of content is still relevant, and that you're posting on social with real humans talking to real humans, which is what AI wants to see. Any questions so far? I know I'm going super fast here because I have a lot to do, but let me know if you have any questions. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you for asking for that. So let's talk about the tech stack. How does this work? Well, Wistia has created an incredible way to do this very easily. But the problem is the same that you had before. You know, creating videos is time sensitive, it's time intensive, it's convoluted, it's hard to measure, and is inefficient. Videos have always been the question, is like, what's the ROI on video, right? Like, and I try to answer that question in every single one of our video boot camps and our video workshops. My closest answer to what I think is the best answer is videos are like blogs, right? If you post one blog article and you're asking, your boss is asking, you posted one blog, what's the ROI of that blog? And the ROI is zero. It's like minus. I just wasted my time immediately, right? But 3 years later, if you continuously blog for 3 years, I can assure you, no matter how many changes AI is doing, you're getting visits to your website because of those blogs, because you're creating consistency. You became an authority. You were consistent with what you were posting. You were answering your ideal client's questions. You had clear messaging. So videos work the same way. You can't just post one video, expect it to be viral, which I don't love that word at all. Viral video. Let's create one viral video. Nothing like your boss asking you to create a viral video, right? So that doesn't exist, right? Viral videos are flukes that some people take advantage of, but they only happen because someone with a humongous, audience liked or engaged with your content. That might happen over time, but most of the time, consistency is going to beat virality with videos and social media. So the problem of video is that, let's make a video becomes, let's create a script and let's shoot it and let's edit and let's do the feedback and let's edit again and feedback again. So that process is also a problem with webinars. Webinars have the same issue. Creating a webinar, and then if you need to have that piece of content and you need to edit it for your website or for your blog, it creates a lot of problems. So what Wistia did is created a webinar product that allows you to run webinars very cleanly, have your branding very easily. You can create a landing page directly. You can integrate it into HubSpot, so all the leads go automatically into HubSpot. So for example, you can have your landing page in Wistia, right, with a Wistia form that sends emails automatically when people register, when it's about to come up the event, with a reminder. All of those things Wistia take care of the whole thing as an event platform, as a webinar platform, but then also sends the leads to HubSpot, and it says data to HubSpot. We'll talk about that in a second. Or you can, of course, use a HubSpot form embedded into Wistia, because that works too, and do it all in HubSpot. So that's a decision you can make. Now, the beauty of this is that not only it allows you to create the actual webinar and run it in there, you can create Q&As. All the questions that people ask are showcased at the end as different slides. It's a very easy to use platform. You can run surveys internally. And then, of course, one of the most important pieces, and the one that makes me the happiest, is not only the video goes automatically into Wistia, it's already there, and you can transcribe it automatically with AI, but it also sends signal. It sends data into HubSpot about who was engaged, who was asking questions, who was running surveys. So all of these things are going into HubSpot as pieces of data as part of that integration. Laura, you say that you have to hop. Yes, the recording is coming out with an email after this. So have a great meeting and see you soon. So again, all that data from engagement goes into HubSpot. So if I want to run an email campaign or a workflow and say, show me, send this workflow to all the people that came to the last 3 webinars, but only show me the people that were engaged and asked questions, right? So those things, the same way you could before with Wistia, with videos, you could say, trigger when someone watched 50% of this video, trigger this workflow, trigger this list, or include them in the list. You can do the same thing with webinars. So there's a lot more data that comes from these webinars into HubSpot. You can still do engagement like you have. If you're familiar with Wistia, you can see the engagement the same way you could see engagement of videos, and you can see how many attendees are focused, and throughout the webinar, so you can learn which parts are growing. You can see which parts of the webinar people were engaged or not, where you lost them. So in the next webinar, you can say, oh, the first part is too long. Let's remove this promotion at the beginning, put it at the end. Or the promotion, only half of people saw the promotion, let's put it at the beginning. You can make decisions like you've made with videos, now with webinars inside Wistia. And all of that goes into your HubSpot CRM. So you can actually trigger things from Wistia into HubSpot. Any questions about the Wistia platform? I don't want to do this. This is not a plug for the Wistia features, but that's the best tool we found to do all of this. And we have a great partnership with Wistia, of course. If anybody has to jump, you'll get the recording. Thank you, Neil. So one of the things we saw over the years, we have a case study where people actually see leads turn into clients at 3 times as much if they engage with video. We have a case study that we run. I'll share with you. And we have seen 2 problems with this. The biggest problem is consistency, as I talked about before. And the second one is measuring effectiveness. Measuring success on video efforts, measuring success on webinar efforts is really hard. That's why we use HubSpot and Wistia together to do this. Now, the problem with consistency, we solve it with webinar series. You can run webinar series the same way you would run a video series or a podcast series. We had one about pre-production, production, post-production. We have the one that we're running right now. And then these video webinar series become a database inside your website. And you can have these videos as part of your content. And you can even create a video series. These are Wistia channels that showcase videos as if it was like a Netflix page. So you can create beautiful experiences to actually run these series. So those series build momentum, more registrations, more engagement, more people on social talking about it, et cetera, et cetera. people can re-engage with you can re-engage with the audience. People come back, they register to the next one. The content feeds the new content. I can take a clip from this webinar and promote the next one. And there's compounding reach. You get more registrations as you continue to grow this. And how the Wistia and HubSpot integration works is you can either embed forms inside videos from HubSpot, or you can use Wistia. You can use Wistia forms and then send the information to HubSpot. But then also you can automate nurturing from engagement in HubSpot. So if someone watched the video for a certain percentage, or if someone watched the video, you can put them on a list, and then you can track ROI and optimize with both pieces of data. What you see in Wistia about each video, like you see in HubSpot for each email, for example. So you can optimize your video on its own, but then also you can optimize with all the data you get inside HubSpot of the engagement of those people that watched the video, that didn't watch the video, et cetera, et cetera. And like I said before, you can turn those videos into blogs and emails and social, and you can use them for lead generation and use these triggers for workflows, to the point that, again, you will get the data inside HubSpot to make the decisions and run analytics depending on the triggers. If people watch a certain percentage, if they click on the call to action, if they were engaged on the webinar, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the case study that I was telling you about. We run a case study where we analyze how people, we had a client that was doing a lot of video and a lot of very intentional video. And what we saw is that at the end of the day, what happened is that leads that watch video were closing at a higher rate, 3 times as much than leads that didn't engage with video. I'll share the case study right here. And then we went back and analyzed the same thing with a lot of other clients, and we saw that this number was 4 times as much, 9 times as much. So there's a huge impact of video in your clients, in your leads turning to clients. And this was a way to showcase that. And webinars have the same kind of effect. And it could become that video engine that turns into all those other pieces of content. So the pro tip here is AI helps you repurpose faster. So make sure that you use AI to scale, not replace what you were doing. I know a lot of people are saying, let's create the videos with AI. We don't need to be on camera. Gabriel doesn't need to be there talking. I can put an avatar of Gabriel and Gabriel can talk for me. That defeats the purpose for humans and for AI. So be careful. Don't replace what you're doing. Use it to scale. How? Well, you can transcribe your webinar very easily. You can add chapters automatically with many tools. Wistia does a lot of that stuff, but a lot of tools, Zoom, any tool can transcribe your video and turn it into text. And then you get that transcript, you put it into ChatGPT, and you use a very good prompt, which I'll share in a second, and you can turn that into a blog. So use AI to accelerate what you're doing. But the blog shouldn't come from you saying, create a blog about this and asking AI to bring all the content. A blog can come from a transcript very easily, especially a webinar transcript, because you have slides, you have an ideal client, you have a theme, you have your whole transcript of what you talked about, you have all the questions and answers from the webinar. All of that could be included into a blog that's going to be highly ranking for SEO and have all the signals that you need for AI. And then you can generate FAQs for your website. You can generate clips, clip captions to, clips. You can turn, parts of the video very easily in Wistia with AI. 2 clicks and it creates a clip from the video. It actually finds engaging parts of your webinar and it turns them, or your video, and it turns them into clips for social. So that's the kind of AI we're talking about, is using those tools to make these iterations faster, learn faster, and generate more content from one piece of content automatically. So AI helps you repurpose faster, but you need to keep your voice. And a good example is this, like I do a lot of meta, like Dharmesh was talking about, meta prompting, which is like, what should I ask you, ChatGPT, to make the best use of this webinar transcript and the slides, so you can create a great blog. So this was the prompt that I created after going through several iterations. And this prompt is all about saying, okay, you, ChatGPT, you are the expert you're an expert in content strategy, and you're an editor who specializes in turning spoken transcripts into high quality, engaging blogs. Now, I want you to do this. I want you to optimize this for humans, search engines, and AI. Now, do not forget humans, because if you say optimize this blog for AI, it's going to be QA, 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 QA. It's not going to flow like my managing director is always telling me that my blogs don't flow. Of course they don't flow, because I'm creating a lot of it with AI. So one of the things I've gotten better at is telling AI, okay, I need you to create human flow. Write this to have a structure that a human would actually enjoy reading. Do the SEO optimization, so the keywords are there, the H1 tags, the H2 tags, everything's in there. But then also AI optimize it. Give me Q&As, give me, at the top of the blog, give me a description in 60 to 80 words that defines the whole article. Don't just do an intro. At the end, do an FAQ with questions and answers, and structure it so the structured data is already there. So give me all of that, polish it editorially, create a final output of a polished blog, and give me the metadata for SEO. And then also, don't forget this, ask me, so ChatGPT, when you finish all of this, ask me any clarifying questions you need about tone, audience, call to action. What I usually do is I include the transcript, I include the slides, and then I include several articles we've written already, like these. Use the voice from these. This is how we write. And I also include our homepage or one of the service pages to say, hey, this is the kind of service that we're talking about, or what we're talking about here. So this is the kind of prompt that you would use to create a blog article from a webinar automatically. So again, SEO is evolving. Authenticity is your differentiator. AEO is about caring about AI and humans, plus the iteration. So keep looping it. And make sure you build your content engine so it can loop faster by using AI to, enhance and make pieces of content and create content, human content, faster, and then feed it with webinars and video, which are very human, very engaging pieces of content, and you'll have a framework to make this work. So good SEO. Think about how AI is, looking at those signals, and then feed AI content that is human as much as possible to create the content they create from AI. So that's the webinar today. I can't believe it's 45 minutes, so I did good. I think that last time I was like a full hour going at it. So go watch that recording. It's a good one. Rate us right there in the chat, 1 to 10. How did you like this? Of course, we have the other 2 events that I'm going to put right here. The other links if you want to subscribe to the other ones. Thank you for all the 10s. I really appreciate it. But also 12.5, Ron, you're my man. That's great. So we're here to help. Let us know if you need any help with any of these things. I have an article about from SEO to AEO here that I can share too. Definitely, guys, let us know if we can help in any way. We have a special this month during October. All the people that come to our events, we have 20% on all websites and 20% on HubSpot health checks, which are audits. So let us know if we can help you in any way. And I'm here to ask any questions. So any questions you may have, don't go. Stay right here. If you want to become a presenter, come off mute. I'm here to help. Any questions about SEO, AEO, using video, how to use this framework, I'm here to help. Any questions, guys? I'm going to give people some minutes to write their questions. So Taylor, I wasn't the last webinar. They're awesome. But we talked about schema tools in HubSpot. Where do you find the tools for using them? Let me share. Let me share the schema HubSpot article I shared last week. This is a how to structure data in HubSpot, like right here, Taylor. That's the article that I shared. Some of the things you can do is you can give some code to your developer. Your developers can help you. Your website designers, like we help our clients with these things all the time. You can also have a little code that you reuse for FAQs and things like that for blog articles. But also, if you use tools inside HubSpot that already have structured data, like the knowledge base is a great example. Blogs are a great example. Why are blogs so great? Why have blogs help us over the last 10 years to do inbound marketing what it is today? It's because there's semi-structured data. The title, the description, the tags, the author, all of that is structure in the blog. The rest of the content isn't, and that's why it's semi-structured. There's a lot of non-structured data, but definitely blogs are semi-structured data. Knowledge base is another great example. FAQs, if you create a simple FAQ and put the schema in there, super easy to do. So definitely I would recommend doing that. Any other questions, guys? Thank you, Diane. I was enjoying learning from you. Hope you have a great opportunity. Thank you. Thank you for joining. And thanks everybody for joining today. Vancouver, Canada. All right, guys. Any other questions? Anyone who wants to come up mute, you can ask for presenter and come up mute and ask me a question directly too. All right, good stuff, everybody. Question: creating a video series is a great way to start. Yes, and I would say today I will create a webinar video series because creating a video series is a lot of production. You need the cameras and the sound and the studio and the this and the that. If you want to do that, go for it. Creating a video series that turns into a podcast, that turns into blogs, that turns into emails. Let us know if I can help in any way. I'll be more than happy to send you more information about that. But creating, and here's my email, video series, Andres, is like incredible. Now, webinar series are easier to develop, are easier to produce, are easier to shift from one to the other one. They're easier to produce because you're just on a webinar like this. You get the recording. You can do something with the recording. Again, video series are more involved, more production, but definitely webinar. Yes, and webinar attendance is everybody's challenge. But at the end of the day, this webinar, 100 people registered to this webinar and 45 showed up. And now there's 21 people at the end on the Q&A. Those numbers are not only, they're good, actually. They're great numbers for us. We run a lot of these. And sometimes you get like 10% showing up or 20% of people showing up. And that's where repurposing the content afterwards becomes more important and a humongous opportunity. You already did all the work. I showed up. I taught you. I showed you things. We had a conversation. You asked me questions. Answer the questions. Some of the person said, "Oh, use this tool." So we're helping each other here. All of that human interaction, all of that work goes away if you do nothing with your webinars after you post them. So take those webinars, turn them into articles, turn them into emails, turn them into social clips that will re-engage the same audience you have, bring a new audience. If you turn it into a series, they will help each other one after the other one. It's incredible. It's incredible. Andres, I can open my mic if you want. Yes, I think you can. There is a way to request presenter. I don't know why you guys are not being able to. Let me see, Andres. presenter mode. There you go. Andres, you want to come off mute?
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Gabriel. Yeah, my concern is that even creating webinars, it takes the same amount of effort to prepare the material, to get the cameras ready and all that stuff. But the thing is, when you're starting, like getting people registered into a webinar when they know little about you or nothing. And so my question is like really doing like once a week, maybe, I don't know if the frequency has to be more, but videos that goes out and then you repurpose those videos. Like you use this AI concept of repurposing with just creating a weekly video, or I don't know how many videos a week.
And what's interesting, the whole multiple times a week or a month goes away when you think of that webinar as the fuel of your engine. So the webinar is the fuel. And that webinar then turns into multiple pieces of content that you keep promoting over months. That's the thing. Like if this webinar becomes a blog, which it will, right? Becomes a blog and becomes 4 different videos, clips that I take from different pieces of it. And then those videos are promoted once a week, maybe twice a week for a while, and then once a week. And then I promote on an email that I send everybody that is subscribed to my email. I send the blog article with a video in it. And then in the blog article, they can watch the recording. And then I also have some ads running with those videos. Like that becomes part of my content strategy. And that's just one webinar. If you run a webinar every month, you have a strategy forever. So you're posting today, you're going to be posting videos from webinars you run 3 months ago and 2 months ago and a month ago and today. And 6 months from now, you're going to have 6 webinars that you have content. You can just post 2 videos a week from different webinars, and that content's still going to be relevant because you need to think of it as the fuel for that whole engine to be running. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you would say that a webinar per month would be a nice pace.
And it depends on the audience and what they're looking for. You know what I did with this series? I'm running 1 webinar a week. This series says every week I'm running a webinar only for the month of October. So it's 4 webinars, one after the other one, but I'm running 1 a week. And you know what's happening? More people are coming because it's like tight. More people are like, oh, I saw the last one. I want to see the next one. It's next week. And they show up, right? So you need to think about it as, is this going to be a short series and you want to do it in a spurs? Or is it going to be a long series and you want to do it once a month or once every 2 weeks or something like that? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Sadly, the answer is it depends.
It depends.
But it depends on good reasons. You know what I mean? I think if you're going to run this indefinitely, running it once a month, it's great. You have 1 webinar a month. You create a blog out of that webinar. You have clips out of that webinar. You have Q&As and FAQs that you can add to your website. It's amazing. Now, if you can do it twice a month and still be relevant and educational and entertaining, it's going to be very useful for you and your strategy. Does that make sense?
This is very exciting, and this is for us. It's going to be a break, it's a game changer, because we have been partners from HubSpot for years since the pandemic, and we decided now to go to niche, to just an industry, which is hospitality, hotels and restaurants and all that in hospitality, because we have luxury hotels in our pipeline, not in our pipeline, but our clients, and they are referring us to other hotels. And so we got an expertise on that, not only implementing HubSpot, but doing the whole inbound thing for this.
Of course.
So that our, every client that comes into our company, it's because of a rep. Somebody else is referring that other hotel to us. But I want to make this like more wide, and want to talk about what strategy has been working. and what has not. And
That's
this is
great.
a great opportunity,
Yeah,
especially
you
for
can actually
going niche.
you can run these webinars with your clients. You can actually invite your clients to your webinars, and then they're going to invite their friends and their colleagues to those webinars, which are your potential clients. So that creates even more referrals. So there's a lot of opportunities there. So thank you for your question, Andres.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Anybody else wants to come off mute? Anybody else has a question? Hopefully, all the 12 other people that are still here are not AI recorders, and we're just asking them if they have a question. But anybody else has any questions? You want to put it on the chat, come off mute, let me know. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining today. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for supporting us and for coming to our workshops, and make sure you register for the next ones. Have a great day. Oh, questions. Yes. What distributions are you using to promote the webinars? So again, multi-channel, right? We're using social media. We're using emails to our current leads. We're sending emails as sales outreach, and we're including webinars as part of our outreach as sales. Like, one of the things we're doing is, hey, inbound was last month, and there was a lot of AI, news. Do you want us to have a conversation? By the way, we're running some webinars. If you don't want to have a conversation yet, just come and watch our webinars and you'll learn for free. So webinars are part of your sales strategy too. So that could be part of it too. But definitely, I would say social, I would say LinkedIn, depending on what it is. And to answer your question, for social, is it LinkedIn only or Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok? It depends on the product and service. We don't do anything on TikTok. I know there's a lot of people doing a lot of things on TikTok. I still believe that, again, if you're selling shoes, you need to be on Instagram and TikTok, and definitely on Facebook. We do a lot of Facebook retargeting because we like to find people with intent. So people that already came to our website, we retarget them on Facebook, and sometimes on Instagram. But the whole no link on Instagram is problematic. Now, LinkedIn is the more professional side of things on social, but I would say, the promotion of the webinars comes mainly through email campaigns, which is building our own databases. And it's also through partnerships too, because if we run a hug, that hug could be presented as, one of the events that we do with them, and they promote it in their networks and things like that. So you need to think about what kind of partnerships can also do. If you run events with other people, then you're exploiting and helping bring another whole audience into the webinar. We did a lot of webinars with Wistia, and that brought a whole new audience for us. I wasn't sure, since you have clips, also YouTube. Yes, YouTube is, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing lead generation, you don't want to just put it on YouTube because people will watch it there. But you can include clips on YouTube and run YouTube ads too, to bring people to the webinars. For sure, Ryan, for sure. Thank you, Belle, for the feedback, and thank you, Ryan, for the questions. Any other questions, guys? Good stuff. Great questions. Great answers to great questions. That's for sure. Only great answers because you ask great questions. I would say building your email database and growing your email database is the best way to own your audience and grow it over time. And then through partnerships, through social, through ads, through a lot of different things, you can increase that and make it better. But definitely include clips on social, YouTube, and all that stuff. All right. Any other questions, guys? Anybody else wants to come off mute? We have a database, but it seems to struggle to get actual signups. Yeah, Ryan, I'm going to say that struggle is email, right? Like, there's a lot of struggle with email marketing because we've been spam, not we, but humans have been spamming each other for decades now, and everybody's hating email, but email works. And one of the things that we do is, for example, we add layers of AI like 7 cents to increase engagement. So for example, if you have a great database that has a lot of engagement, there's a lot of data inside your HubSpot portal that shows when people are opening emails, if they're doing it from their phones or their computers, if they're engaging with it, if they're clicking on it. All of that data is analyzed by 7sense, and then 7sense tells you when is the most probable time to send an email in the next 7 days. So when you're sending email campaigns, you can actually optimize them for opening and clicking, and your opening rates and click-through rates start going up because you're sending the emails at the right time. If you send an email to me on Sunday at 3 p.m., probably I won't open it. But there's some days that I have more time than others. And guess what? Those are the days that I'm responding emails, I'm working, I'm on my computer. If you call me or email me at that time, you'll probably get a better result. So doing things like that, layers of AI that give you that kind of insight, helps you increase that engagement and increase, registrations, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming today. I'll see you all next week, hopefully. If you can register, we'll have that loop marketing versus inbound marketing from SEO to AEO. And have a great week, everybody. Take it easy. Bye-bye.